So, I've decided right now the best thing to do is make another video. Did this in haste, so my lighting's even worse than earlier today. Um, and who knows if I'll get all these uploaded in order and all in the same day, so saying today is kind of odd when you think about how the whole timeline can get mixed up with the way I load things and if I can even get them uploaded tonight. That could be odd. People generally don't think about that when they make videos, though. Let's see if I can adjust that lighting at least, because that's really bugging me. There, that seems better. So, what's happened and led to me suddenly making this video? Well, I had an idea for a video. I was just going to wait until I'd uploaded the others to create it. And now I'm making it in haste because I've got nothing else to do. As I was uploading 4 videos from my Logitech cam, which is amazing, I was also uploading a 5th video from my Sony camera that I bought for taking pictures, and I've ended up using it more and more for videos. I still use it for photos quite a bit. But had I known that I wouldn't have the install disc to my Handycam at the time, I would have bought something with better video capability as well. Now, for the most part, my Sony cam more than does what I need, for the most part. On occasion, it will mess with me. Getting pictures of fireworks is nearly impossible. Pictures of the moon is right out. Pictures of rainbows is very, very difficult. But I pulled that off. Pictures of sunsets and the like, no, not even worth trying. And before the videos aired out that I was uploading, I was trying to get a picture of the storm that's hit, because you couldn't see the lightning. It was all happening above the clouds, so you would just get a very dark night with suddenly there's a flash of multicolored cloud. It was awesome, and it would outline all the trees and the horizon. I thought that'll make for some neat video. I was wrong. Unfortunately, my camera does not pick up, especially stuff in the dark, very well at all. It did everything when I bought it that I needed at the time, and it certainly did what I bought it for, and still does what I bought it for, but now I'm branching out into other things, and I just don't have the equipment I need. I'm not sure if the binocular cameras I have 2 pairs, would work for this situation. I think they're more for well-lit, far-away objects, but I haven't used them yet. I've got a certain way I want to use them, and not the capability to pull it off right now. They were bought, now I'm getting tongue-tied, bought for a specific purpose. And I've learned from using this camera for things I didn't buy it for that you try to stick to what you bought something for, or it will give you all manner of trouble. And that's why I'm making this video right now. Now, what did I decide to make the video about before I decided to shoot in haste? What was I waiting to make a video about? This movie. House of Bamboo. Now, generic photo of some guy. I mean, you can't tell who that is. That does not look like who it is. All the Asian women on the cover have very Western eyes. And there's 2 Japanese people up in this far corner, but that man obviously has prominence. And then this woman that barely looks Asian. First, I should talk about why I purchased the movie, and a movie besides that one. Now, the movie besides that one I need to talk about is called The Slanted Screen. It's by Jeff Adachi. It's a very interesting documentary on the effects of Hollywood on Asian youth in America and the typecasting of Asian actors and things of that nature. Really, really well done. It's got some good actors, some good directors that are Asian in it. And it gives lots of good examples. It shows how there was a time when there was a very prominent Asian male actor getting good non-typecast roles in American cinema. With that movie in mind, I really, really would like to get a copy of The Slanted Screen by Jeff Adachi on DVD. If anyone knows where I can get a copy, please, please let me know. With that in mind, I've been keeping my eyes peeled for older American movies that might feature Asian themes or actors recently. And I came across the house, or not the house, just House of Bamboo, at a Dollar General store, because they have the weirdest movie selections at those places. It's only like $3.95. Didn't take long to get together the money and get the purchase made. And I went into it expecting, well, maybe I should read the back a little to you. Film noir, classic of style of the 40s and 50s, noted for dark themes, stark camera angles, high contrast lighting, Hollywood's finest films, realistic crime, mystery, and femme fatales with lots of moral conflict, paraphrasing a little bit. Now, when I saw that this was part of the Fox Film Noir collection, I was expecting a dark detective story. Now, they talk about high contrast lighting. Doesn't adequately describe it. I've had an intro to film class in college, and we did talk about film noir a little bit, and they brought up some of the stuff that I really liked but had not thought about too much out of film noir. And I might be mispronouncing it. Noir. I have no clue how it's pronounced. Well, I'd always liked the movies in that style. A lot of it is the weird lighting. It's not so much high contrast as it is dark. Lots and lots of shadows. Shadows upon shadows. You have layers of shadows, generally with something like fan blades spreading, repeating shadows, or shaking, hanging lights, making, by repeated I mean a layer with a shadow coming over across the screen over and over. And then you have lights moving so that the shadows wiggle in a pattern over the other shadows, and you get this very dark, seedy, mysterious layer that hints at stuff beneath the surface in noir. Now, they also talk about stark camera angles. Stark. Not a very good descriptive word. The camera angles would be better described in noir as odd. Very shocking, different, odd angles that make things look ominous, more shadowed, make people seem more mysterious, that make the audience want to move in their seat and try and see around things, that make the audience uncomfortable at times, that make them feel lost. Angles that aren't natural, not what you would normally see in a movie. More of the unsettling, mysterious nature of noir. This stuff was amazing in a sci-fi flick. Oh God, Blade Runner. I can't believe it took me that long to get the name to pop into my head. Looking at this, bright-colored, crazy Hollywood stuff, I was expecting at least some noir in the lighting and camera angles, but mostly sort of exploitation of Asian culture and America's ignorance of it at the time. I was expecting some Yakuza of some type, some plot in Tokyo, lots of seedy mahjong parlors, Pachinko wasn't well known back then to the Americans. Mahjong, while still not well known, has always been somewhat popular amongst Chinatowns and Jewish community. And similar to dominoes. So people would be able to see something alien like Mahjong that they hadn't been around in their culture and associate it with similar things and be okay with it. And it wouldn't bug them and they'd be able to get more into the story. Pachinko, even to this day, is not normal for the average American. They might try to associate it with slot machines at best. It's kind of like an upright ping pong game. If you've seen The Price is Right, you'll have a better idea of what Pachinko is. They end up using pachinko parlors in this, by the way, and I didn't even think pachinko parlors were that big back then. Also, they don't use Yakuza. They use American crime syndicates set up there, which was odd, not realistic crime dramas. The time period this takes place is a time period when the Yakuza were stepping to the forefront and really beginning to thrive. Tongue-tied again. Post-war Japan. It's when the Yakuza really dug their claws in and were doing well. While Japan was rebuilding, much of it was rebuilt by behind-the-scenes Yakuza. And this is a common theme of older Japanese movies. Could have easily been used in this. Now, all this said, this movie had a lot of good surprises and was not at all a bad movie. When I looked over it, I just breezed through it real quick and ignored the American names. I was looking for maybe there's actually a Japanese person in this. Thought maybe one of those two would be named that's on the back. Not the woman. I mean, I really thought that was an American actress. Really thought it was an American actress. Shirley Yamaguchi. Barely looks Asian. I mean, I would not have figured. Maybe she married an Asian man. Maybe they did some subtle tricks with makeup, but she is average Japanese height for the time period. I even thought maybe she took on the name to try and make it big in Asian countries or get an Asian following for the film. I don't know. I had never heard of the film before this unless they mentioned it briefly in the slanted screen. I can't remember. The only Japanese name I saw was her. So I really thought when I watched this, it was going to have the Yakuza elements, and it was going to be all in Hollywood sets, in Hollywood. You know, not even real Japanese areas, using Chinatowns and mixing up Asian cultures full of American misconceptions. And there have been a few misconceptions. I think I mentioned some. Like, well, there were misconceptions about what the American market would better handle at the time, and this is a far-fetched American crime syndicate set up there. If they'd worked it more into a corrupt military base, that might have worked. But no, they used something else. I'm going to try not to spoil this too much. As I was watching it, the main character isn't introduced right away. It takes him a little while. As soon as they introduced him, that face looked familiar. Nothing like this face. The voice, crazy familiar. So I ran to the DVD cover because I knew that voice. Robert Stack is the lead character. That's right, Robert Stack. Unsolved mysteries in a mystery. He does an awesome noir detective. Great voice for it, great look for it. Facial expressions, posturing, the whole bit. He is awesome. And what drags this towards noir is him. What quickly drags it away, you could tell from the streets in some shots. There had been rain. Not one shot in the movie used rain that I can recall. Rain is one of the most noir-themed weathers. Not in this. They have cloudy days at best, but they don't take that to their advantage for the lighting of the outdoor scenes. The indoor scenes, plenty of alien scenery to the average American. We're talking tatami mats, sliding rice paper doors. things that beg for odd shadows, odd angles, stuff that could feed Noir and really bring this to the forefront of Noir films. Overlit. Every indoor scene, just ridiculously overlit, other than one where they're at a shrine, and I think that's because the shrine they were at was a real shrine in Tokyo, and I don't think they were able to set up as many lights as they would have liked to. Otherwise, I'm sure they would have overlit that one even. That one ends up having some neat shadows that, had they lit it just a little bit less, because I could tell they messed with the lighting as much as they could, that could have really been a deep, dark Noir scene. And it would have fit the scene, too, because it's where you find out someone's working with someone else you didn't expect. Some plot twists, some mystery, not very much mystery. Some people end up being who you don't think, and it's interesting, and it lends to a Noir quality. But the lighting is so off. Really enjoyed the movie. It's not very long. Older movie. The writing wasn't too bad. The acting was great. Lots and lots of Japanese people because it was shot on location. They started in some Japanese fields, surrounded with Japanese country-style old houses. And they even have some narration that lends a very Dragnet feel to it. They do away with it after a little bit, but in the beginning of the movie it's there, and it's really nice. I liked that narration. And they explain they really shot in Japan on location. When you watch the end credits, they thank the Tokyo Police Force for having helped them in making this film, so that was really cool. That was really cool. I recommend it. Great movie. Robert Stack, House of Bamboo. Not your typical Noir. The camera and lighting you would expect of the genre is just not there. And that is so disappointing because there was so much begging for that. Especially with themes and the time period and the place. It would have been so mysterious and really, really helped the Noir genre part of the film. I still give it a pretty good rating. And Robert Stack, he's a great actor. I think yeah, I've seen him in some other weird movies, but that's off topic. Hope you enjoyed this. I recommend House of Bamboo. I'm not going to be picking up the others in the series because, 2 reasons. This is the only Asian-themed one. And when this one begged for Noir lighting and odd camera angles and gave every excuse to use them, and they didn't, and they used very bland camera angles, very stock camera angles, and ridiculously bright lighting, I'm betting the rest of the collection of the Fox Noir is that way. So unless one of them has something that really piques your interest, for me, the cultural angle, I wouldn't pick them up. This, though, has, beyond the cultural angle, Robert Stack. So this one's definitely worth it. Thank you for sitting through this. I hope at almost 20 minutes that they allow me to load this video. I think 17-something is my longest so far. Thank you for watching. I'm really hoping I get some comments, some discussion going on this, maybe some video replies. Ooh, we're hitting 19 minutes. Please, if you know any more about this film even, it had 2 extras in the special features that were kind of cool. They were silent, film footage of the actors arriving on location, shaking hands, doing autographs, and some of this on-set stuff, footage. Not too much of that, though, so it was more seeing the actors and the actors arriving on scene. Really cool movie. Hardly any Gaijin Americans in it. Mostly Japanese, but the lead roles, other than Miss Yamaguchi, were white Americans. I don't know. Oh yeah, let me know if you know how to pick up a copy of The Slanted Screen by Jeff Adachi. Well, I'll make another video when I get around to it, I guess. Thank you.